Welcome to our podcast, Below the Belt. And we trust that you guys are great and you're having a fantastic Sunday. And more than that, that you are having a fantastic weekend. We talk about self care and being gentle with yourselves, especially on the weekend, because we know you guys work very hard. And it's very important that you guys get rest and you get to recuperate and all the other wonderful things that come along with that. Rest and recuperation, guys, that you get that and you get some good food for your souls as well on the weekend. Good to see Beatrice Selby joining us right out of the blocks. And we have Donna David and Pamela Sanchari. Pamela, good afternoon, Pamela. Pamela, thank you so much for that thing, Pamela. Thanks for the thing. Pamela, thanks to you and your family and all of the other folks who keep us going. Thanks, Pamela Sanchari and Sharon Griffith and is it Engwasi Griffith? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Who's watching us from New Jersey, NJ? I wish I was where you are. I wish I was where you are. Pinky Richmond, good to see you. And Alden Duke, Myrtle Hines, and Yule Ali Cock. Natasha Paddy is here as well. Sandra Davis is here too. We have Glensis Mingo Byrne and Winston Goodluck. We have we got is it and Cassie Ruth and Ngwasi Griffith. All these fancy name people. Why your parents gonna give you all simple names like Tom and Jill? Some simple names. Can we tie up our tongue at this? And Sharon Van Rossum and Claire Alexis Chomley Richmond. Good to see you as well. Chisong Henry, Claire Capel, and Beverly Drake. Magnell Barrow is here as well. Magnell is watching us from Snowy City, Brooklyn, New York. And we have Mbali Clark, Mali. Good to see you, Mbali. Good to see you. We have Ann Gullen is here with us as well. And not to forget the one and only Agre Marsh is here. Latavia, is it Lucas? Let me get it right. Lois or Lewis. Uh, Latavia Lois, or is it pronounced Lewis? That's a toss up. Patricia Graves Zandy, we see you. Jacqueline Pastano. Jacqueline. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. They got some people that touch me heart. Some people are the wind beneath my wings and the finances that keep the show going. Good to see all of you, especially Jacqueline Pastano. Folks like Jacqueline Pastano. Keep us going. Keep us going. Thank you, Jacqueline, for your kindness and your generosity. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you so much. Good to see Guy Johnson as well. Rishi Pasar is in the house. Rishi comments. Rishi said Trenchy here. Rishi wants to know who you are. You can't go wrong. Rishi, I'd like to have you in on the program sometime. I would love to have you as my guest on the program. We don't only want like voices, we like dissenting voices too. So Rishi, let me know which day you want to come on the broadcast, and I'm going to facilitate you. Let's talk about developing this country. And Trenchy's welcome, Jacobats welcome. Big shout out to Rishi Prasad, one of our ardent viewers. Even though Rishi don't always agree with our opinions, we don't always have to agree, folks. We do not always have to agree. Listen to me. If we can't eat okra every day, how much don't matter how much you like okra and like what's the other one? The other bitter one. Corilla. No matter how much you like Corilla. Fly Life at Wade. Watching us from Region 5. No matter how much you like Corilla. You cannot eat Corilla every day, so we don't always want people to agree with us. You know how many ideas we bounce off of people? And sometimes it's with that, people, you hear another idea and say, you know what? I didn't think about it from this standpoint. I can go with what you were saying. You don't always have to agree with us, but have the courage of your convictions to state how you feel. Lorraine Beat, good to see you. Good to see you, Lorraine Beat, and Lizzie Abrams Atala Wade from Region 5. Atala, wait. Atala says she's having her nails done. Please and thank you. Token came. Please and thank you. How is that going, Atala? Oh, you got people out there fighting on the front lines and you're getting your nails done. But I'm happy. Self care is important. Self care. Spend your husband money, girl. Spend your husband money. Self care is important. Orwin Don Cook. Shout out to the nail tech too. Shout out to the nail tech. Shout out to the nail tech. Send me a name so I can give the nail tech a shout out. Or are you doing your nails yourself? Stephen Monroe is joining us from Queens, New York. Queens in the house. Good morning, America. Good morning, America. We know it's just after 11 in America. Rishi says, you at least sorry, he says at least me and catch feelings about the trenchy day. Rishi Prasad, you see, I like people like this. Some people take things too personally, you know. You know how many names I get called? In my life. You know how many names I've been called? Rishi Prasad, one of our listeners. He said he didn't take the trenchy thing personal. He didn't catch feelings. Too many people catching feelings. Too many people living life based on feelings. It's how you feel. You can get them and go to work tomorrow based on how you feel. Based on how you feel. Beverly Hamilton is in nail tech. And we're being made to understand that Beverly Hamilton is one of the best nail techs in Region 5. So, folks, if you want to get the hook up, if you want to get the hook up or the hook downs, Beverly Hamilton. Beverly Hamilton is our is the nail tech that Atala Wade is having her nails done at, right? I want to give the healthcare workers a shout out too. All the nail techs, folks, listen to me. We can create some programs for you. You got to care yourself. You got to be gentle with yourself. Sometimes, listen to me. You got to spend a little money on you. The greatest investment, Stephen Covey says. Dr. Stephen Covey. Dr. Stephen Covey wrote that fantastic book among books, is it Seven Principles of Highly Effective Leadership? And he says the greatest investment is investment in self. Dineshwar invested in himself recently graduating from the University of Guyana. Higher education, we can talk a little bit about that. Investment in yourself ain't got to mean, only education. That's vital and part of our discussion today, but also in you, your nails, get your nails done, cut your hair, brush your teeth, put on some cologne. You look at some people and you just say to yourself, this chap, this young lady just need a little caring. Some of we like me, you just need little caring. You just need little caring. So big shout out there to the nail tech. I'm being made. I am reliably informed. Credible sources says one of the best nail technicians there in Region 5. So if guys you want to get your nails done, you're in Region 5 somewhere there around 28. What village is that? Me my geography. Uh, on the morning show the other day, I was telling the co-host Rita that something we're talking about Purika, and I was saying Demerara River runs somewhere there. So let us know where this nail tech there. Agri Marsh, Agri Dillon Marsh, Dillon. I never met a proper Dillon. All them Dillons disgusting. But big shout out to Agri Marsh as well, and Yolanda Moore and Karen Smith. Kurt Roberts and Amanda Daniels, and a big shout out to all the healthcare workers, all the healthcare workers, folks, all the workers in general. Shout out to all of y'all, especially the healthcare workers. Amanda Daniels and Marla Alicock. Marla says, blessed afternoon, my favorite MP. Cheryl got bail last night from she got bail last night from Facebook jail. It's only the Almighty know how I just beg. Folks, if you get blocked or banned on social media, you got to appeal. Don't just take block and just fight Facebook, fight Mark Zuckerberg. You got to hit them below the belt too. Good to see Vashti Magnot joining us from Waterloo, Canada. Vashti, thank you for your encouraging words. Recently, they meant the world to me, Vashti. You guys are the wind beneath our wings, right? Your encouraging words meant the world to me. So thanks to you and your husband there. And we hope that you guys are doing great. Maureen Coppin Williams. Good to see Karen Smith here as well. And Winston Carr. Deborah Clark. Deborah is joining us from Barbados. Deborah, how is Barbados? I wish I was on one of the beach there. I wish I was on one of the beach there for the next 3 days, just chilling and just relaxing in the water there. Good to see Deborah. Beatrice Selby says, Blessed Sunday, she is in the Bronx. Well, we need fighters like Beatrice, because once you're from the Bronx, you know you could belt punches. Good to see Paulette Hickson, Alicia Thomas, all the other fantastic folks. Folks, you know, bear with us if you're new to our program. This is how we celebrate our viewers. We love our viewers. If you ain't got viewers, you ain't got a show. You're just talking to yourself on social media. If you don't have viewers, you don't have a show. You're just talking to yourself on social media. We don't talk to ourselves. we we keep a check on our mental health. And you know, folks says not talking to yourself, Jennifer Argyle is the answering back. Answering back. Jennifer Argyle is joining us from Granada. Jennifer is joining us from Grenada. Folks, Grenada's in the house, Spice Island. Shout out to Jennifer. Good to see you, Jennifer. And we have Marlene de Jong. Marlene de Jong is joining us from France. You gotta pronounce it right, folks. From France. Marlene, how you doing? How you doing? How is France? Well, we know France is the country for lovers. It's the country for lovers, folks. France. How is France treating you there? Basil Clark is here in Alkaline Caesar. Alkaline Caesar. Alkaline is not the fellow who Alkaline Caesar is not the fellow who is now Rihanna child father. Is Alkaline or is Rocky something? Rocky Balboa. Is Alkaline Caesar or is Rocky Balboa is Rihanna child father? Who's the fella? Who's the fella? Chesong Henry, good to see you. Carol Jacobs, Marina White, Marina White. Folks, we got a big conference coming up in Guyana from the 15th, from Tuesday. And quite a few folks are coming here. Mia Motley is coming. We got Santoki from Suriname. Mia coming though. Mia coming and Ado from the other place. He's coming too. But Mia is coming, folks. If some one of y'all got the hook up to Mia, right? We'd love to have Mia on. We'd love to have Mia either in the ring or on our morning program. You know, we have a seat saved for Mia. Whoever out there got the hook up, right? I don't know if it's Agri Marsh got the hook up or is Deborah, Deborah there in Barbados got the hook up. Whoever got the hook up, we just speak it out into the ether, right? Speak it out there. Y'all got the hook up for Mia. We got a chair, you know, around the morning table and FYI for Mia. Or even if Mia want to take over the whole, if Mia want to come in the ring by herself, does it, right? Vanessa De Silva, ASAP Ricky is Rihanna's child father. ASAP Ricky is what's a Rhea? Rihanna's child father. ASAP Ricky. He said Ricky Balboa. It's a Ricky. It's a Rocky. What we know definitively, folks, is a Rocky. Good to have each and every one of you here. Nonetheless, folks, we're looking at the spread of the morning papers before us. And some of the front pages, for instance, the Sunday Star broke telling us that local content secretariat is expected to be functional by the end of the month. That's what the installed minister, Vikram Bharat, is saying. Local content secretariat expected to be functional by the end of the month. Well, that's the same thing about the youth policy initiative or the youth group initiative. You know, it's 2 years now, going on 2 years. We're still waiting. But Vikram Bharat, he says that the local content secretariat is expected to be functional by the end of the month. Well, so much for that. So much for that. And one of the stories we covered during the week, this woman who was found hanging by Yarra Cabra, that area on the Linden Sioux Highway, that community rather, Yarra Cabra, right? That, as it relates to that story, her husband, according to the newspapers, has confessed to her hanging. She was found hanging in a tree there in Yarra Cabra, and the husband has now confessed to staging that. The woman he killed his wife, according to the papers, and he faked her suicide, and hence that hanging was staged. In other news, folks, as we look across the front pages of the daily newspapers, we see that there's the Pegasus Suites. You know, they're going to be open soon. The Pegasus Suite, the whole skyline there in the Kingston area by the Kingston sea walls is changing in large measure to the expansion of Pegasus, the Pegasus. And we're being told that by the proprietor, Mr. Badal, that the suites are going to be open shortly and to a tune of $100 million. I may take an office there. We may take an office there. Who knows? We may take an office. No, we big enough. We take a whole floor. We take a whole floor of the Pegasus Suites and do our programs from right there. Right? Get a beautiful backdrop of the Atlantic Ocean. I almost said the Caribbean Sea. Of the Atlantic Ocean there. That would be something to behold. But who knows? Our fingers crossed. Where there's a will, there's a way. Looking at Village Voice. Village Voice. Village Voice says well, let me come to Village Voice last. Looking at the front page of the Kaichu News Sunday edition, and it says here that the Exxon CEO and President Ali and Vice President Jagdeo owe it to Guyanese to revise the lopsided oil deal. And this is a comment that is attributed to Christopher Ram. They owe it to this country to revise the lopsided oil deal. Again, this is according to accountant and attorney Christopher Ram. He is saying that, and it's splashed across the front page of the Kaicho News. Another headline I'm looking at here says that the government sets aside $22.4 million to revise future billion-dollar oil contracts. Yep, also to pay for update to old petroleum law. And again, this is according to Minister Vikram Bardhian, tall Minister of Natural Resources. And then we get to what's happening here with the Sugate, folks. Sugate. All right? Sugate. That's where we at, Sugate, folks. And across the front page of Village Voice today, it says, Probe Jagdeo. Probe Jagdeo. PNCR AFC mount calls for full probe into corruption allegations against Jagdeo. And folks, you all remember that interview of February 1st in which a snippet was published on the Facebook page of the Vice President, Bar Jagdeo. Again, trying to get ahead of this Sugate story. And that did more damage than good. More harm than good. Even a press conference hurriedly put together the following day did not do much good to stem the tide of allegations about corruption, wheeling and dealing, influence peddling, folks, as regards to how Chinese contractors get big businesses locally, big contracts locally. And so APNU, AFC, PNCR, and among other folks, if you go through the letter columns in the Daily News, are calling for an investigation. And so Village Voice says, probe Jagdeo, probe. You gotta be probed. Right? And you folks, you know that on this story, we say more on the epistle, right? Or rather, more in the matter than on the epistle. More in the matter than on the epistle. Who? Sue? Sugate, folks. Sugate. It is upon us. I'd love to ask Mayor Motley's impression of this. Who got the hookup, man? Who got the hookup to Mayor? Somebody ought to have the hookup for Mayor, because we want to get to the bottom of this. To ask me his impression of what is happening here. Mayor ought to know, not so. Mayor ought to know. We want to get to the bottom of what is happening. The bottom, not the side, to the bottom of what is happening. And that interview was something else. We're going to play an excerpt for you from that infamous interview. And we're going to get some commentary on the other end. We're going to be joined very shortly by Dineshwar and Kathy, both members of Parliament, guys. I'm a little distracted. We're going to be joined by the Honorable Dineshwar Jai Prashad and the Honorable Catherine Hughes, both members of Parliament in the National Assembly, members of the National Assembly, and by extension the Parliament. And quite recently, AFC put out a strong statement as regards the ending of the talks, the termination of the talks between a Chinese contractor linked to the Chinese state, and the government of Guyana at the very time Sugate, at the very time of the advent of Sugate, and a part of that statement from the AFC read that the terminated talks with the Chinese contractor requires a proper, detailed, and coherent explanation. Folks, y'all know more in the matter than on the epistle. More in the matter than on the epistle. Folks, who's sharing their live stream for us today, guys? We want to see those emojis as well. Glensis Mingo Burn. We want to see those emojis. We want to see those emojis. Nigel John and Judy Paul, Roxanne Aaron, Marina White. Good to see all of you. Glennis Jones, and is it Chlorine or is it Chlorine? Chlorine Fraser. Hope I'm pronouncing this right. Hope I'm pronouncing it right. Good to see each and every one of you. We want to bring you an extract, folks, from Sugate. Sugate, that interview heard around the world. Who, Sue? Who, Sue? Yeah, same Sue, same person. Same Sue, man. Same Sue, same Sue. Who, Sue? Yes, same Sue. Right? Don't complicate matters. Same Sue. Same Sue. Same Sue. Same person. Let me see if we have it now. Let me see if we have it.
Companies from other parts of the world, the Chinese company offered 7.7 cents per kilowatt hour. This was way below other Chinese companies too. When Blackstone was developing the project, they were looking at a power purchase agreement of over 10 cents per kilowatt hour, and we had to take equity of $100 million in the project. So that's not a loan. We're buying power. In this case, there is no loan. You supply the electricity, we buy the power at that price. There were issues. That's why I started off by saying there are real issues. We have sought to strengthen the systems. So a proper procurement law, integrity commission law, all of our financial laws updated, strong penalties for public expenditure and not utilizing public expenditures for their dedicated purposes, etc. We try to fix the system. Whether individuals would continue to be corrupt, I can't put my head on the block. You would have that. But the system has moved forward. But when the system failed, we had systemic failures in the last government because the institution that we put in place, they never complied with it. The Constitution, first of all, for no confidence motion, was not complied with. Secondly, the Integrity Commission law was not complied with. And I'm surprised only in 2021 that's going to be mentioned when it happened in 2016 to 2018 when we were in opposition every year shouting about this at the top of our voices.
What about within your government?
Yes.
Do you accept bribes?
No, I don't.
We've spoken to a number of Chinese business people in Guyana who said that you do accept bribes, and they have said that in fact it's the only way to get business done is to bribe you. One Chinese businessman we spoke to involving timber logging told us that basically as long as the vice president is okay with it, it's fine. He just needs to give one phone call to whoever is in charge. They'll get it done right away. The real big boss is the vice president. Everything is under the table. The whole country is like this.
Yeah, well, I can't comment on that because it would be an anonymous person. You can just sit there and fabricate that. As I said before, a lot of the companies and reporters. But you can if you name the person, that's fine. When the reporters come from abroad, this is their catch you kind of thing. They always want to make a developing country leader look corrupt. So you've done your bit. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people. I can say, two persons told me before this interview, don't do the interview with Vice News because that is precisely what they will do. They will fabricate something and come and say they spoke with people here.
Well, we're not fabricating
Yes,
anything.
but
Let's talk about
tell you something. So all my statements are in with the Integrity Commission. The last government, they checked everything about me and they didn't find anything. They checked my bank accounts abroad. They checked everything. They didn't find anything. So there has to be the evidence of it. But you're not bringing evidence. You're saying an anonymous Chinese source.
Okay, well,
Maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you. Or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhirong?
So my relationship, nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is a friend of ours. His father was here from many years ago.
I mean, he lives next door to you.
Yes.
You know, he was able to arrange meetings and catch-ups with you at any point in the day.
As a friend, yeah.
He claims that through his very close relationship with you, that he's able to get any deal done.
Well, I don't know if that's
able to change laws for investors.
But then which law has been changed for any investor?
So Sue told us that if you want to get anything done in Ghana, you need some hookups. I'm very close with the vice president and the other officials. The vice president and I share a very close relationship. Also, if we do the business, he'll help out no matter what. There's no one else who can help like he does. He also says when he's talking about prospect investors that the vice president said he can change the constitution. He said he can manage. Everything is going to be done soon. He's really treating us as brothers. He's already trying to help us as much as possible. Of course, I need to give back to him in return.
Yeah, but that is, I don't know about giving back, but I do that to everybody who comes to my office. The American companies come here to see me and they need a meeting. You asked to see me. I have an open door policy since I was president. So people come to see me. But I've had a long history of being in public office and we never had any of this stuff that you talk. And all my accounts are clear. If you are coming here with specifics. So I just heard what you read and that's totally accurate. I help out as many people as I can. That's totally accurate what you read there. Unbelievably accurate. It's accurate. So I help people out, but it doesn't mean for consideration. It does not mean for bribe because I believe that we have a mission to help as many people as possible move forward in this country.
Well, Sue also told us that, the amount will divide between the vice president. It's going to be a service or process.
Oh, really?
If we're going to do business together, my boss is not going to directly receive the money. But obviously, it's not going to directly transfer to him. The service charge is 4% of the total. It's not only me, most of it's the vice president. Mm-hmm. Do you use middlemen like Sue in order to take money on your behalf so that you can keep your hands clean?
No. The answer is no.
Why do you think that Sue would say this?
I don't know. You have to ask him.
He's saying it because he, as he understands it, that's the truth.
Well, no, because he understands it, so that's why you have to ask him. But the answer is no.
So why do you think he's saying this to us?
I don't know. I don't know why. You ask him about that.
He's saying that,
Yeah, but I just said to you, I don't know. If you're hoping,
this is how it works.
If you're hoping to, again, to drag me into this, catch me, I got you there. I told you already, no. And I told you already what you said there at the beginning. You read the part. And that's pretty accurate that I help a lot of people who come here. A ton of people call me about getting this interview with you, people that I don't even know. And I left the Parliament building because I came here for it. It doesn't mean it's for consideration. I do help a lot of people. So if you're looking to catch another, you have to get more details. You have to come with evidence. This is all hearsay. In this country, you could say anything. It's all hearsay.
So you you're saying that Mr. Su, your close friend who lives next door to you, who meets up with you at any point of the day that he needs, is lying.
Yes, if he told you that, but I'm not saying that he told you that.
You're saying that we're lying.
You could possibly be, but I don't know if he told you that it's not true.
Su has shown us very lucrative contracts between himself and Chinese state-run corporations.
Folks, that's the advent of Sugate. Who, Sue? Who, Sue? Same Sue, same person. One the same. Same person, folks. That is the advent of Sugate. Sugate. Allegations, and I'm obliged to tell you, I'm obligated to tell you, I have a responsibility to tell you. As you heard, those allegations were denied by Vice President Jaglio, installed Vice President Jaglio. They were also denied subsequently by Sue. And the Chinese embassy in Guyana put out a statement that all of their contractors are above board. That's what the boys them saying. But folks, Isabel Young, that journalist there from Vice Media Group that publishes Vice News, is yet to put out her report. And folks, we are awaiting that with bated breath. I hold him a breath, folks. Get your popcorns, get your cokes. Get your popcorn and get your cokes, folks. Get your popcorn and get your cokes. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a big one, guys. We gotta prepare for it. It's gonna be pay-per-view. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be like nothing you've ever seen before. Right? It's gonna be like nothing you have ever seen or witnessed before. It's gonna be epic. And we are being made to understand that the fallout is going to be great. The fallout is going to be great. So we got we popcorn here, we got we cokes, and we're about to invite Kathy and Dineshwar to join us in very, very short order. Guys, so stand by for that. Stand by for that while you get your popcorn and your cokes. Stand by for that. Folks, I want to welcome all of you who are joining us. I see I'm reading the comments, Jordan, Jasmine, Carmichael. Let's welcome Kathy. Kathy, a very good morning. Happy Sunday.
Thank you, Sharon. Happy Sunday to you too. It's a great morning. I'm taking it slow. And
I was about to ask you, how do you do Sundays?
Some Sundays are deep, but today it's been slow. Got up, did breakfast, had a nice cup of coffee, looked at the plants in my garden that are blooming. A moment to smell the flowers, they say.
A moment to smell the roses. When you started here, I was wondering whether you were we were reading the front pages of the newspapers early on, and we were talking about this US 100 million Pegasus luxury suite and corporate center that's going to be open soon. I was wondering if you might have been there just unwinding in these luxury suites.
Yeah, right, Sharon. How about unwinding in my home?
Easy on Sundays. And Kathy, we often talk here about self-care. It's quite important, those folks, everyone, we work hard, and in this country of ours, we just work hard and we dead. Right? In other places, people go on vacation and they take time out. You're just working your day. We want to change some of that. Mental health issues are real. People need more self-care. People need to be gentle with themselves. Whether you're in your home like you, Kathy, or you might be in the 100 million suite at Pegasus. Wherever.
Absolutely. That's so true.
Yep.
And you know what, Sharon, it's so easy to get caught up in this cauldron that's always boiling in Ghana. Meaning that we go from year to year, month to month, day to day, hour to hour, and there's always some disaster. There's always some terrible happening. And, we just really don't have enough moments of peace and civility when we're kind to each other. And of course, today is Sunday, so we think about some of the principles of looking after your brother, whatever religion you espouse to. That's still an important part of our meeting.
Yep. I'm happy to hear you say that, Kathy. We have joining us now, Member of Parliament Dineshwar Jai Prashad. Dineshwar, a very good morning to you and welcome. Welcome to the podcast, Dineshwar. How do you do Sundays? Dineshwar, are you with us? It says you're with
Are
us.
you hearing me?
Yes, sir. We're hearing you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Dineshwar. How do you spend your weekends? How do you spend Sundays?
Well, Sunday is a time for family, but today is a packed Sunday, so I'm trying to cope with the many activities that I have.
Fantastic, fantastic. It's a time for family, and Dineshwar gets in some work. And folks, Dineshwar has been working very, very, very hard. In lots of respect as a member of parliament and also academically. Just yesterday, Dineshwar graduated from the University of Guyana from the Faculty of Education and Humanities with an advanced graduate diploma in education, and in particular with a focus on curriculum and instructions, right? He didn't follow the university like some people. He graduated yesterday. So we want to say big congratulations to Dineshwar.
Yes, congrats. Excellent.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Awesome, awesome. Folks, Dineshwar and Kathy, just before you guys joined the podcast, we were talking about Sugate, right? Sugate, and who's who? Sugate, and the allegations there that the vice president has been involved in, influence peddling and wheeling and dealing, and according to this journalist out of Vice News, Vice Media Group that publishes Vice News, Isabel Young said that, or put some allegations before the vice president, that she heard from Chinese contractors, seen contracts in which you had to pay a lot of money to the vice president to be awarded these contracts. Of course, we have responsibility to tell you guys, as I said, that the vice president has denied those allegations. But what do you guys make of this? I mean, it seems as though everything we said to Guyanese people about the PUP coming back was true. They bring all of this nastiness with them. Kathy, ladies first.
Yes, yes, Sharon, it's most unfortunate. And I think this is just the most recent expose. And of course, it's getting us because it is a foreign media out. And one of the things that we need to remember is that the way the media in the US operates is very different from the way we operate in Guyana. First of all, they really believe in the importance of being able to share information. They don't self censor because that's one of the things that I think our media do a lot. Often they're scared to say what they need to say just because they're scared of the reprisals. So it was refreshing to see a very strong, pointed interview. I know the reporter is an award winning reporter. She will have her facts. I think she will also have her proof. And as she very boldly put on her Facebook page a couple of days ago, the report is not even out yet. So I think there's more to come out. I think what the government did is that they knew this was going to come out, and therefore it was in their interest to raise it before the media outfit raised it. And the American media are very strong on, as you know, they get sued. So I think they would be very, very careful, and in terms of ensuring that they're not spreading inaccurate information because they could end up in the courts. So I think that we have a lot to see coming up. They always say that where there's smoke, there's fire. And Guyana is a small place. And all I will say is that there have been allegations of that for many years. We used to hear the term 10%. I will say no more. I know people will understand.
Yep,
But
yep, yep.
yes, it was very strange. And in fact, if you look at the DPI website, Sharon, the post on January 11th, 2022, where they say that, there are enough coverage, and it says the objection back in November 2021. China State Construction Engineering Corporation Limited construct the bridge at a cost of 51.3 billion US dollars. So you can understand sudden change and the fact that that contract was annulled, and they tried recently to explain it. But why is it again Minister Edson, who made this statement and it's on the DPI website on January 11th? How come he didn't make a similar statement saying that that contract is now void for whatever reason? And we hear about it from a foreign reporter.
Correct. Correct is right. Dineshwar, we also hearing on this matter some persons saying that maybe the vice president should take a lie detector test. A lie detector test. Let's settle this issue once and for all. Your thoughts, Dineshwar?
It is good for us to get the facts right, and the only way we can do that is probably the lie detector test will prove to us that okay, things happen or things are not happening. It is sad to know that Guyana is in the spotlight again, and this is for this big allegation. Uh, it's good to be in the spotlight as an oil producing economy. It's good to be in a spotlight that we went down in terms of being blacklisted and so forth. But when we are on the spot for having high officials in allegations, high officials being involved in all sorts of um, activities, then it paints a bad picture on not only the PPP or the APNU, but on our country. The whole Guyanese population are very much embarrassed to know that someone from that caliber, that individual who have been very much informed in traveling the world, having information as to as it relates to crime and fraud and mismanagement of public funds. And so coming to our country means that we got to read between the lines.
Hmm.
It is not something that just happened overnight. It's something that was there. Probably there are information brewing in other places that we do not have. And this individual coming to us here now is very, very crucial. It's very crucial for us to probably bring some facts or or that's my take on it.
It's about it.
Yeah.
We in a bad place because we dealt with so much miasmic matter before 2015 with this last administration. So much we dealt with them, whether it was the drugs, it was the killings, it was corruption, you name it. And we seem to have breathed a sigh of relief and a breath of fresh air post 2015. And now it seems as though we're heading right back there. It's the arms and ammunition shipment, 3 freight loads seized in whichever country that was. It's drugs being intercepted in Belgium and the Netherlands by the tons. You name it. Gun people being gunned down and um,
Exactly.
corruption. You name it. We got of which the chief example of corruption is the PS there from the Umbrella Affairs Ministry, Sharon Hicks. You know, that matter is still languishing before the courts. And there are lots and lots of other things that we can point to: the crime rate, the recently passed budget, the fact that prices are going up, everybody crying out, from Crabman to Crabwood Creek, everybody crying out. We featured on this very podcast yesterday the vendors there at Port Morant Market talking about how things
Yeah.
hard and how abandoned they feel. It seems as though the PPP have come back in all the glory.
Exactly. Political promise. You
And
know,
and
well,
Jai Paschal,
you go ahead.
Jai Paschal, go
You
right
go
ahead
ahead.
because I know Port Morant is your area there.
yes. So as it relates to the promises made to the people, the people feel betrayed in terms of promises made and not delivered. Cost of living is going up day after day, and people are not receiving cash in hand. So we are feeling the squeeze here in the Barbies area. even though we produce a lot, um, things that we buy in the supermarket, price going up every single day. So how much we will consume what we produce, and that is very important. The poor man feels the squeeze. This budget that came out here, 2022, is not a poor man budget. It's to set the boys right. Set the boys right so that they can grab as much as they can at the expense of the poor man.
And that's
I'm
sad.
saying to the Guyanese people that this is time for us to get up and wake up. Stop being led by the propaganda. See the reality and assess our situation. Look back what happened 2015, before 2015, assess what happened from 2015, and see where we are going now. And if we are heading towards those bad days, those dark days, then we know that we have to do something as a population. We have to get it right.
Correct. Things tight. Kathy and Dineshwar, I want to play a little bit of that. What took place at Portmont Market yesterday, and we're picking this up again, folks who haven't heard it yesterday in our program from entity called Little Guyana 592 News. Does beautiful work in the diaspora, covering what's happening with our Guyanese folks there, and lots of work too in this area, Region 5, Region 6, and they spoke with some vendors yesterday at the Portmont Market. Take a listen, then I come back and get some thoughts from Kati and Jai Prashad. Because again, while these guys are distracted with corruption and siphoning off Guyana's natural resources by the billions, the people are feeling this oil that we're producing, and second oil and first oil and all of that. Let's take a listen to that. Some of the vendors there at Port Morant Market just yesterday. Take a listen, guys.
On Little Guyana 592 News at the Port Morant Market. Who you got first? Bring them. We have a few we have a few vendors who are here who are very upset about the performance of some of our elected officials. Now, it does not mean we are attacking the elected officials, but we want the vendors want them to. Good morning, Good morning, Auntie. What's your name? Yes. Just tell us your concerns right now that is on your mind. Pull on your mask. It's okay.
I don't want Thursday market Friday night to Saturday.
Why?
Because not when you put me at all the producer left in our sale when you get Thursday market. When you get Thursday market, you come Thursday, people buy the gun. All the load left. If you reach late, you all load left. I will just come Friday night and sell Friday, Saturday, and market is go good. And everybody just sell. You know, doesn't get nothing left, man. With all this load what they have. And this not one thing to them about this market plenty time.
Yeah, because I remember since last year this issue, so nobody is reaching out to. You go to NDC and what happened? They had a meeting there, or and what was the outcome of the meeting?
They promised to stop the Thursday market, and there's no reward until now. We need this Thursday market to stop. It's affecting a lot of vendors.
Somebody else?
Because when now you buy the load Thursday, remember the load of it Wednesday. You gotta continue sell till Saturday. You understand? Some of the load is damaged. You cannot make a profit. You run at a loss. And then the supplement. Remember Thursday they come in the market 1 o'clock in the night. You have to buy the load. Then during the day there is no market. You sit down like a statue. Nobody come in and buy it. You understand? We the vendor from Blackbush Polar, we come in and make a living. You understand? And we can't buy this load from stores. You have to pick and choose it, and you gotta sell it till Saturday. We are the losers, and we want the Thursday market to stop Thursday and Friday as early as possible. If the Friday and the Saturday market is okay, but not the Thursday market. And nobody not come to nothing, nobody. Yeah, because remember, we just spend our money and to get back your money, look, so far they forget so far. Then you get a loss, you lost your labor, you lost your time. And the wholesalers that come, the farmers.
Guys, people sometimes think it's the big things, but it's the small man who across this country, and this is just one instance, who keep crying out, right? Things tight. We ain't getting sales. This ain't happening. We ain't feeding all this oil money. You know, if you can't feed your family, the big bridge building someplace and the shore base don't interest you. If you can't pay your light bill and your house rent or your mortgage, those things will not interest you. We hear discoveries of oil almost on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. But if that don't come to impact your spending power and improve your quality of life, what does it matter to you? Kathy? Dinshwar?
Yeah, Sharad, you're absolutely correct. And this is where everybody knows the kinds of things that could have been put in the budget to ensure that at the end of the day, more money was in the pockets of ordinary Chinese. So they took 607 million US dollars out of that natural resource fund and put it into the budget. But when we look at how much of that has gone to Guyanese citizens, you realize the real purpose of the budget. Very little has. A start, they could have made a declaration that since we're talking so much about local content and we want Guyanese people to be educated and get the skills to work in the oil and gas industry and in the different services that will support it. First start, UG could have been free. All those technical institutes could have been free so that persons can go and get the skills and be educated. We did not see that. The other thing too is minimum wage. Minimum wage could have been 100,000 minimum because we look at the one-off handouts that they're giving to people, right? But in fact, look at it in
Kathy? Kathy has some connection problem. Folks, bear with us. Dinshwar, jump in there if you can. And we're going to have Kathy and Dinshwar back with us in a second. We're having some connectivity issues at our end. But again, a lot of people, a lot of folks suffering. Kathy? A lot of folks suffering. A lot of people suffering. There's no other way to put it. They complain. They say they feel neglected by the elected officials. The issues that they're dealing with is week in, week out. And they want to know what is happening. Week in, week out, they're facing with these issues. And they want some relief. That is what they want. They want some relief. I think we have Kathy back with us. Kathy,
I
go
think
right
you
ahead.
lost me.
Go right ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay, can you say I don't know where we lost each other.
From the top. Thanks, Kathy.
Oh, from up. Okay, sorry about that. So Sharon, what I was saying is that you're correct. That the budget, if we recall, 607 million was taken out of the natural resource fund, and this is 607 million US dollars.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm-hmm.
it was a people's budget, we would have seen an increase in the minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
100,000 at a minimum, so that every day, every month, ordinary Guyanese would be getting more money in their pocket. The PPP expect us to be happy. Those who were able to get a 19,000 cash grant, the sugar workers that got 250,000. But if we look at that, the sugar workers got a one-off 250,000. If the minimum wage had been increased over 12 months, they would have gotten much more than that 250,000. And that's how we need to look at it. Given the monies that's going into the National Resource Fund, why isn't more directly going into the pockets? If the PPP wanted university education free from now, if they wanted the technical schools could be free from now, including all the resources that is needed. Because we talk about local content, we talk about wanting Guyanese to be trained, to be able to fill the positions in the new industries. But yet we're not doing anything to help them to be able to go to school and get the training.
Correct.
So these are the things that are not that show. Pension could have been much more. People are saying done analysis and they're saying that the average basket of a family of two needs to be in the vicinity of 100,000, just food, electricity, water, and all those bills. Why didn't we do the right thing? Why are we boasting a measly 7% increase?
You've been
Yep,
encouraged.
yep, yep.
UT could be free, minimum wage increase. I mentioned in my budget speech about them giving out 11,000 tablets when there are 200,000 students in Guyana. I mean, that's a joke. So, cash transfers and putting money in people's pockets is what we need in Guyana today to combat the rising cost of living and the challenges people like those vendors are facing.
Yep, yep, yep. And Kathy, you know what makes it even more damning? What is happening locally on the ground? Starbuck News, for instance, in an editorial this very week here, with the header, Vice and the VP. Vice and VP suggests that in these Chinese contracts, you have a 2% set aside for these kinds of underhand deals in these contracts, and Starbuck News suggests that it would be wishful thinking to believe that that doesn't happen locally. This is Starbuck News. If monies that's supposed to come back to alleviate the hardship and suffering of the people, for instance, we learned through this very interview with Isabel Young that the lower end of the trade to get these contracts is 500,000 US dollars. If they're going into
Yeah,
somebody's pocket, what coming to the people of this country? We understand why people feeling the pressure that we pump in oil, but they're really feeling it. It doesn't really touch their daily life because it's like we didn't got oil to begin with.
exactly. And that is the concern. We know it happens. I mean, Sharon, if we did a survey, every Guyanese know it happened at all levels, including at the top. I mentioned the 10%, Mr. 10%, right? We know it's going on for a long time, a long time. How is it possible? And this is where people have to be very wise to the screams and shouts of the PPP. Again, I remind persons of 200 million US dollars squandered on a PPP project, and
Yep,
that was
yep,
that cable. And the person, as we ain't talking about, some little body in an office that nobody knows that this is going on. This was the son of a former president that was in charge of this project, and Rama McKay and her audits that talk about the fact that one company got monies, never delivered the cable. The cable was laid in some parts, not laid in other parts. The same VP that we talk about, look at his track record. Technically, he has had probably what you would call at least 3 or nearly 4 terms as head of this country. And why do I say that? Because he had a half of a term when he took over from Janet Jagan. And let's
correct.
call his position now as another half of a term,
Mm-hmm.
right? As de facto president today. He's in everything, making the decisions. And then let us look at the 2 terms that he legitimately had that our constitution allows. There is not one project, there's not one project that we can see that he could put his name to as a seal of approval.
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at the things that he touched. The Skeldon plant, which was a total
yeah.
disaster.
Amila Falls.
The Amila Fall was another total disaster that just on a point of order he's going back to. Look at the state of Gaisuko, another total disaster.
Yep, yep.
The
Even the Burmese
Patagonia
bridge
plant,
an
another
extent with the
total
high price, citizens gotta pay to pass
the
that.
Burmese, exactly, the Burmese bridge that has left the national insurance scheme in jeopardy. So again, we're taking monies out of the hands of ordinary Guyanese because when they go, the first thing NIS will tell them is they don't have enough contribution. Got to prove they got the right set of contribution, right? So the onus is on them. They're sugar workers, in fairness. I know many of them, whereby they don't have their contributions that GISCO was to pay have not been paid, and many of them are suffering. We have a national insurance scheme that is possibly going to collapse. because of the monies that were taken out of it going to go into the Berbice Bridge. And as you know, we have sure it didn't increase the cost of people traveling and crossing that bridge. And some of the increases were going to go as high as $8,000. It was former Minister David Patterson, who everybody's cussing up now, that had to make sure, and that had to make sure those increases were not done by the Berbice River Bridge Company and put on the backs of ordinary Guyanese. So, the VP talks as though he's really the champion, but there's nothing that we can look at that he has been put his hand to that has been successful. And worse yet, conflict in our society today, the racial intolerance, the racism at all levels on all sides is one of the most worrying things that are a direct result of the way he operates and the way he has led this country, directly or indirectly.
Indeed, indeed. Jai Bashar, your thoughts as we wrap up, as where we're going as a country. It seems every day things getting worse. You don't want to be doom and gloom, but that is what it is. Listen to the vendors there in Port Moran. I'm certain you listen to citizens, in your daily commute when you have parliamentary in Georgetown, back and forth, listening to people message you on social media. Where are we going as a country as we wrap up? Jai Bashar.
Mr. Duncan, I must say that as it relates to the Port Moran market issue, the PPP is playing politics there. This is a situation could have been dealt with years now. And the wholesaler comes to the market on any days and wholesale and retail as well. So this is putting a additional strain on the retailers who are basically the poor people fighting for a daily survival. And the wholesaler and the retailer cannot compete at the same level, same time, same day. So that is a situation that the region and the NDC needs to look at. I have engaged the regional chairman and officials at the NDC to regularize the system. Let's put 1 day for the wholesalers and let the retailers have their 2 days so that people can survive. Not just one of my friends will be able to dominate the market. So I am saying to the Guyanese population, Port Moran market situation, politics being played out there, gross mismanagement, and we need to ensure that the people come out and speak more on this issue, put pressure on the administration at the NDC and at the RDC.
Indeed.
Number two, as it relates to where we are going as a country, we are just hoping and pray that God protect us, that we do not become a Venezuela number two.
Correct.
Miss Cathy made some powerful points there. We are having wealth in abundance, and our people are punishing. You are buying 11,000 tablets for 180 to 200,000 children. What nonsense is that? We have enough money to buy 200,000 tablets, preload tablets with all information, and give to our children. There is no need for the internet for that. They can charge it anywhere and use it. But we are giving 11,000. We're bringing other university, and we are paying other university around the world to run programs for us. And we are not giving our University of Guyana the mandate to train our people for free. So it is saying that something
Fantastic
is definitely
point.
wrong.
Yep.
I'm saying we as the people need to ask more questions. When the politicians come around, ask them question. Why is it that this is happening? And what about the promises that were made? Accountable. This time, na long time, basically. We do not have to sit back and allow them to give us a hamper. Satisfy. Let us demand what is ours. This oil money is not PPP or after or AFC money. This is our grandparents and our great grandparents and our money and our children money. We have sweat for this money here. This is not for to control the NRF fund and damage the fabric of this nation. The people need to stand up now. So wherever you're listening, whatever you're zoom into or log into, use that platform to ensure that you ask question. Put the politician to the task. Hold them accountable. Hold the ministers accountable, because this money is our money. We need to get it right. If we do not do that now, 2022 and 2023, cat eat with dinner. We will be a poor country.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct.
Sharon,
Kathy, your final thoughts.
yes, Sharon, I'd like to answer that question as to where Guyana is going.
Go right ahead.
In the context of our parliament, because we all know that parliament is the highest body in the land. Parliament is where we make our laws, where you have both sides of the political fence, so to speak, that's supposed to work together in the interest of all Guyanese. And when you look at the way Parliament operates, it's just a manifestation and proof that we're not going anywhere in any fast time. Look, for example, at the fact that some of the issues, the key issues that should be discussed in the parliament, are not even ventilated. And here I want to specifically mention when we had the flooding in region 5 and 6,
Mm-hmm.
and a motion was put to the parliament to discuss that dire situation. I want people to understand that a motion would have been able to say, look, folks, this country, everybody's concerned about the situation residents in region 5 and 6 find themselves in, and this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 should be done. The speaker did not even want to allow that motion.
Correct.
And then, Jared, I am going to raise one of the saddest things that we saw recently. And that, of course, was that awful, disrespectful comment on the dildo by a minister of the government who was actually standing up and speaking on record for the whole world and the nation to hear. Now, I don't want to repeat the comment, but the observation I want to make is that imagine the minister stood up and made that comment, and he did not even have the good presence to say immediately, oh my goodness, I do apologize profusely. Look at the video footage that has been shared. Speaker did not interrupt and say immediately, Minister, this is totally unacceptable. Apologize to the female member of parliament immediately. And what happens? You who were not even sitting in the room, who rushed in anger and disbelief at what was being said, you have been punished. You have been sanctioned. And the person that uttered those vile comments has not been punished in any way. We will not accept his so-called apology because it wasn't an apology. So when you look at those things, you know that even at the level of the parliament, where there's supposed to be some measure of recourse, some level of discussion, some level of planning for the future of Guyana, parliament today does not work. And as I said in the last example, we've been shouting about what is the perceived bias of the speaker. And the speaker now has to prove that he is not biased and he's fair. And for someone like me, the only way he's going to convince me that he is fair is if the minister is sanctioned, just as you are sanctioned, because the minister is the one that uttered those remarks. So, in closing, the final sad straw that we saw a couple of days ago, Sharon, was that earth being dumped on the seawall. Now, believe it or not, when we have visitors that come to my family, one of the things that my husband and I like to do is that we drive on the back of on that beach right at the back of the Marriott. We explain to them that Guyana is below sea level. We look at that beautiful clear beach. We ain't got blue water, but it's a fabulous beach. I was there last Sunday with some relatives. I saw about 54 members of some youth groups that were liming and just enjoying the beach. The seawall on a Sunday is where Guyanese families could at least go and walk and sit down and relax. And to think that you have such disregard that you would go and dump piece of old wood, piece of brick, piece of concrete, piece of wire, where people go with their families and bathe and walk. is just the final insult to the people of Guyana. And up to now, I have not seen Minister Edgehill say that he's going to remove it, that it's put there temporarily. Imagine the oil and gas conference is opening today, tomorrow, and visitors staying at the Marriott is going to look out, and that's what they're going to
But
see.
Kathy,
It's
luckily,
appalling.
luckily, they have moved it. They have moved it. Luckily,
Good.
because better sense prevail. I think is because of
Agree.
the advocacy of the folks who have been down there, like Brian Max,
Later.
videoing it and making it public, and at our end, pushing it via social media and showing people know what's happening. I think was sometime yesterday they would have moved it because I
Wonderful.
mean, but I'm with you with what in their mind would put them, even if you didn't have an international conference happening, to dump all that stuff there. It just
Right.
boggles the
And that's
mind how
where
these people operate.
and that's where Sharon, the fact that you would not think, oh Lord, this is the one place Guyanese could just go and chill, relax, buy a little hamburger, take the children out for a walk, go in the Bunksy Castle, whatever it is. The fact that that would not register first and foremost shows care about Guyanese, and I'm happy that it has been removed. I didn't realize that. I'm very happy. Thanks for correcting.
Yeah, it has since been cleaned up, and thanks for the advocacy of all those persons who've been adding their voice to have that stuff move from there. Both Kathy and Dineshwar, I want to thank you guys for joining the program today. That's our time in our podcast, folks. The honorable members of Parliament, Dineshwar Jaipashad and Catherine Hughes, it's been our privilege having you guys below the belt today. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much.
Sharon,
Thank you very much.
Sharon, I just want to thank you for your information, for the work you're doing. You are doing a tireless job. You're on in the night, you're on in the day. You're now on in an excellent breakfast program. And I say to you, thank you very much. For some people, like my 94-year-old aunt who listens to you every single night, the only objective information they're getting is from Sharon Duncan. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you as well, Kathy and Dineshwar, for the work you guys are doing
Thank you very
as
much, my brother.
parliamentarian, and keeping in touch with the people and ensuring that they know what's happening. Thank you, guys.
Good, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Awesome, awesome. Folks, that's our time today. That's our time today. But we're back tomorrow. We're back tomorrow, firing on all cylinders. Early in the morning, 8 o'clock, we're on with FYI, our breakfast program. And by 12, we're back with Below the Belt, our international podcast. And by 8 in the evenings, it's In the Ring. Pound for pound. Folks, thanks for joining us today. We continue to ask for your support in moving these programs forward, building them out, doing what we gotta do, getting you guys valid and incredible information. Thank you guys so much for all of you who've already been helping us. Guys, there are several platforms. Did you know that you can contribute to in helping us moving our programs forward, helping us to meet our monthly obligations? There is the Cash App platform. Our Cash App handle is the $ in the ring 592 at gmail.com. And then we're on PayPal and Zelle. Our email address there is inring592 at gmail.com, inring592 at gmail.com. We're available via MMG locally. That's the GT&T Cash App. Our number there is 627-6963, 627-6963. We're available via MoneyGram and via Western Union as well. Guys, you need any guidance in any of these platforms where you can contribute and help our programs to keep going, you can WhatsApp 627-6963, 627-6963, and we'll be certain to tell you how you can do so. Thanks for joining us, folks, and continue to have a fantastic, productive Sunday, guys. And we hope you have an even more fantastic week, a wonderful week, a productive week, a week in which you not only live, but you thrive. That is our hope for each and every one of you. Thanks for sharing our broadcast before you go, guys, and smashing that emoji button as well. Take care, guys. That's our time. Stay safe. Take some time for yourselves during the course of the rest of the day. Guys, be gentle with yourselves. Stay safe. Stay safe.